Hello everybody, this is me Qua, and today we are doing the last part of Devastator, the Newage Devastator. Today we'll be combining them. Now here's the torso piece. Hold on, let me raise that up a little, as you can see. So what we'll be doing first here is applying... Actually no, yeah, here you go. We'll be doing these two first. Hook and long haul. So we're gonna do hook first, so... Okay, there's this little tab right here. You want to undo that. That opens that up. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, there we go. Boop, boop. Open that up, and now you got this whole top part opened up. Now you want to do some transformation with hook. So what you want to do, you need to do some untabbing here. So my fingers are not getting to it. Hold on, let me just undo that way. Okay, perfect. So you could just set it back to how it was previously. The hands, honestly, I would just recommend just folding those in or just leaving it out like that. Whatever way. Anyways, put that back, and then there'll be this piece that's right here like this. You want to fold that down, and then what's going to... Oh wait a minute, okay. Actually, before you do that, you want to rotate the hand down on that side, so that way you got enough clearance here for that, because otherwise then you kind of unnecessarily stressing it a little. You can fold that down too, just so you have it symmetrical, but make sure the hand's rotated like this. And then after bringing that piece and tabbing it in, there'll be this hole right here, and there's another spot somewhere over here. All you want to do is just line that hole up with this hole right there, and that'll secure. And then you bring that up. You want to bring the arm back up to where we had it, push it back in, put the clip right there, do the same thing on the other side, put the clip right in, boom, and then we got the first part done. Now, one thing to note, and this is why I didn't use the upgraded kit, is because on here you can see it's green. That gray for the legs, to get the legs looking animation accurate, would have caused a little bit of gray to seep through there. And personally, even though there is a little bit there because of Hook's head, I don't really notice that, but I did notice the light gray immensely, and it was just bothering me, so that's why I kept those legs. That, and they look more cohesive in robot mode too, if I'm being honest. So yeah, and also I just like these are simpler. So yeah, we'll get to long haul. So what you want to do, kind of like de-transform him a bit, just a little bit, and then you want to stick him inside here. He'll just kind of plop in securely, and there's a tab. There's a tab right here that'll tab there. So you see this tab here. I think there's a couple other tabs as well that kind of tab in. Like I think those tab into the front of long haul or something. Oh no, this little tab right here goes in that slot inside there. There's a couple slots that secure this more or less. So you get them in those, and then once you do that, you want to open these up. There's two notches on the inside here that will tab into this. So you bring this back down. Okay, it's a little... This whole procedure is a little tricky. I don't know if I can even get it on camera. But once you're able to get that in securely, you could just bring that whole assembly down, and yeah, the process is kind of a pain. This is the part I like the least about this. Okay, there we go. Once you got it, boom, there you go. Now you got the torso. Now we'll deal with the legs next. I have this actually just laying down flat here. You have to do some transforming with him. So with Mixmaster, you want to kind of undo the legs a little. Split the legs out. You want to kind of de-transform it real quick here. But you want to bring the leg back out. That's kind of important. And then now what we will do is, hold on. There's a certain method to this madness here. Because this has to sit in a certain way. So you kind of have to flip it out like that. So then everything goes like that. Perfect. And then you just kind of situate it and then do this leg the same way. So we do that. That side just really likes popping off. Probably gotta tighten that, because I wasn't having that issue of the mushroom peg popping off prior, but it's just loving to happen during this review. Don't know why. So anyways, once you get the legs situated, you want to combine them together, and then once you do that, there's two little tabs here that will tab in there. You don't want to tab them there. Oh, and then also there's these heels that were kind of hidden prior. You want to bring those out, because otherwise Devastator is going to be falling down like a little son of a bitch. So yeah, bring those out. Boom, boom, and then just okay, get it tabbed in like so. And one more thing, extend that up. You just simply pull, boop, boop. Now on the Mixmaster side, there'll be two tabs right here. You want to tab them into these two holes. One right there. Okay, one thing I did forget to mention, or not forget to mention, but one thing, there's this tab here that will tab into the upper part of the leg here. So you tab it into those first two tabs that I mentioned, and then line that up there. Perfect. And then yeah, you got Mixmaster done. So then we move on to Scrapper next. Scrapper is the simplest in terms of transformations goes, other than Hook, who's pretty simple in my opinion. You just untap the arms. There's a groove on his arm right here that will tab into this section here. I recommend folding in the hands and rotating it like this. Do it the same way. Boop, boop. There you go. And then just kind of open the leg up, and then this thing will kind of hook into the inside of the legs here. You might have to open up the legs a little bit more, because they'll go in there. Then you close them, and there you go. And hold on, let me see if these are even on the floor. Okay, perfect. Wait a minute, I think. Oh yeah, and then you want to kind of push this piece down, because you actually want to shorten Scrapper over here real quick, because if you don't do that, shorten it, then what will end up happening here is that you'll get one leg that's longer than the other, and he won't exactly stand up straight. So yeah, it's kind of important to push that in, which means Scrapper's head will be sticking out a little bit, but you don't really notice it other than this shot right here, since the crotch is like the center area. Let me, there we go. Let me get this just centered more. There we go. Perfect. And now we'll do the arms next. We'll start with Bone Crusher here, because he's honestly the most simplest of the arms. So there's this hole here. That's where his head goes. You just want to line that up. There's these holes right here and right there. These tabs on his arms will tab into that. And yeah, there you go. Bone crusher, simplest to put in. He's just plop. Scavenger on the other hand. I wish he was that simple, but he's not. So what you kind of gotta do here, you can't do that because of the legs. So what you gotta do, and what I found easiest to do first actually, because there's a couple of holes here or tabs on the arms. You want to tab in the legs first, because once you get the legs tabbed in here for scavenger, and then once you tab in the legs, then you tab in the waist. The waist kind of tabs. There's that tabs into the waist right there. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to show this. Okay, let me get that out of the way. So you just kind of bring it down like so, tab in the legs, and then get that piece in like that. Move that. Then there's 2 tabs in his chest. Yeah, you can see those holes in his chest. There's some tabs on his legs. Those just tab in. And then, but you don't want it this way. You want to flip this there because there's a hole right there that this peg will sit into. So it's like 3 things you got to make sure to lock in. And once those are in, you got that. And yeah, Newage Devastator. Now, there's some things we got to go over first. Of course, like articulation, all that good shenanigans. But yeah. And then hold on. There you go. And then yeah. Oh yeah, and there's some features too. So if you press this button in the back, it'll make noises if you do have the batteries installed on here. Oh, whoa, okay. That can come off. Wasn't expecting that. You can see the internals. Okay. Good to know, I guess. Okay, it does light up and make his noises. And then his head, there's a button here. If the batteries were in, his eyes would light up. But again, don't have the batteries. And I would have to check the instructions to see what type of batteries they are. And I will link the batteries in the description on here on like Amazon, so that way you can find them easy if you do have this. Or just looking for that, or if you just got this and we're like, oh, where's batteries? But yeah, and you do just unscrew the back here, and yeah, you got that. So let's go over some gimmicks first, or actually the head. Very nice face sculpt, and if you open this up and then fold that in like so, boom, you got the unvisored look. Pretty nice looking. All right, so we'll go over articulation here. So this arm can go about that far. If you move this, you can get 360. And then you got bicep rotation here. 360, of course. And then elbows greater than 90. And you got this nice piston detailing. Like, that is fucking beautiful. Oh yeah, hands. The hands are fully articulated. Each can move at the knuckle, which is pretty nice. And then thumb is articulated. It's on a hinge and a ball joint, much like everything else. And then you could tab in the gun here. And then, well, yeah, close it. Oh yeah, these things can move out of the way, unlike most Devastators, so that's nice. Then he does have ankle tilt on both sides, so you could do that. And then also the arm does move up all the way here. Arm can move up about that far. And then of course you got the same bicep swivel. Same thing with the piston detail, which is nice. And of course it can move the same amount as well. But yeah. Oh yeah, and then I forgot to mention the hands also can hinge out like that. So you can do like stop. That's neat. um, and yeah, and then the legs, because this is a whole hip skirt. They can go out. You can do the full splits. And let's see. Okay, fortunately you can't like. Oh, I mean, you might be able to. There you go. You kind of got to de-transform fucking scrapper there. And then, oh yeah, the knees. They're double jointed and ratcheted. And you got that nice piston detailing again. Got it on the knees. What's also cool too is when you move that second knee joint, this will slide down. That is really fucking neat as well. In addition, if you kind of move them up a little, you can get that whole leg up. The most you got to move it up is like that, so it's not too bad there. Okay, there we go. Got that tabbed back in. All right, and then of course you could move it up all the way, and both sides do that as well. It's the same, legs are kind of the same. It's not like the arms where they're kind of different shapes, but they still kind of. Okay, so we are back, and so I'm just trying to get this straightened out here, because this leg's starting to kind of detach for whatever reason. Don't know. Okay. Like the legs look a little uneven. It's kind of. Oh, it's just my eyeballs doing it. Yeah, I think it's just that. Okay, I'll just take that out. Okay. Okay, so we get into some other articulation here. I don't think we've gone over the ab crunch. It's about that far. If you kind of disconnect some stuff, you can get it going farther. But note you will have to reconnect the long haul back together. So I would only recommend going the regular amount. His head is on a swivel. You can go side to side, but then if you pull it up, you can actually get it's on that part's on a ball joint, so you can get some pretty good tilt, some good down, okay up. But yeah. And yeah, it does look like he is leaning a little, kind of. I don't know if it's the ratchets. Yeah, I think the legs weren't out all the way. I'm gonna put the gun back in his hand, but yeah. Oh, and then I put that Decepticon repo label sticker right there, the faction symbol. And then, oh yeah, he does have a waist. Don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Mention that now. It can go 360. Oh, and then one thing I'd recommend doing is pulling out the wheels for long haul, putting them back into their kind of in this position, so that way when you rotate the waist, it doesn't hit it. Trying to think of anything else. Because you're aiming over the feet. I think that's, yeah. Over the head. And then of course these move out of the way if you need to get in forward more and move the arms. Yeah, we pretty much went over all the articulation points. This figure feels great. Like, it has some real good heft to it. And then he's painted beautifully too. Granted, most of the painted parts are for the robots here. When you're in Devastator mode, there's actually, I don't think there's any painted plastic on the Devastator chunks, because I think it's all just molded plastic. I think the only painted parts is his face for the Devastator bits, which is nice. That's the one nice thing I will say about this set, since it is mostly molded plastic. You don't have to worry about paint chipping, which is fucking fantastic. And yeah. And here's a size comparison with Roller. And yeah, I'll get the other guys out in just a bit, the other legend scale figures, so you can see how big they are in comparison. Okay, here's some size comparisons with other Newage products. And just for everybody else who doesn't have a third-party legend scale figure, here's the Kingdom Red Alert. Because I know at least every person who collects Chug at least has one version of the Siege slash Earthrise, or Siege slash Kingdom sideswipe mold. So, yeah. I'll actually keep them in here because this will actually lead into a discussion I want to talk about real quick before doing my final thoughts here. Is that with getting these legend scale figures, it made me realize how. Because prior to getting them, I will say I was a very staunch defender of Hasbro a lot of the times when it came to like them hollowing out stuff and stuff like that. Because my prior experience with third party really was that if it was the MMC stuff, that was the reformatted stuff, it was pretty good. But you could tell why it was the price it was, and why like Hasbro couldn't do something like that. You look at your masterpiece leveled stuff, and you could tell why it's that price. And realistically speaking, if Takara would have produced the same product, it probably would have been the same price. Stuff like that. But when taking a comparison to the legend scale stuff with Chug, it really puts in perspective of how, I don't know, like lazy Hasbro is sometimes with the fucking engineering. Also, it's because of the budget that corporate gives them, and honestly speaking, they could probably give them a better budget if they just stop paying everybody at top really crazy high. Because if you trickle that money back into your employees, you'll get happy employees producing better products and all that and yada yada. But also, like, these figures show that like you can get close to masterpiece level engineering at a really small fucking size. And Chug is still ultimately, I'm still going to buy it ultimately. I'm not going to switch because A, it is more expensive getting to legend scale than it is Chug. But B, also, I'm so far deep into Chug that it's, at this point, that would be a dumbass idea. But yeah. But for legend scale, I'm definitely will be buying more. Just selective on what I'm buying though. The odd random repaints here and there, kind of like Toxitron there. The occasional characters I like Devastator, Thundercracker, stuff like that. Devastator is my favorite combiner though, I will say that. That'd be between Bruticus and I think that would be can't remember his name. Predicate. There we go. That nice orange fellow. But yeah, anyways, getting sidetracked. But yeah, I would highly recommend if you want a legend scale combiner. He's really good. Would be a fantastic pick for that. And I'm a person that's not against parts forming either. I'm a person who could really give a shit less about parts forming, if I'm being honest here, because like for me, it's one of those things. It's been with the brand ever since G1. So it's something I'm like, I don't have a problem with. And then, furthermore, if it can make combiners look even better than if they were trying not to do it by parts forming, which we've seen a Devastator that doesn't parts form, being the Combiner Wars one, and it was mixed results. And this thing parts forms, and it looks immensely better. And then another combiner that I heard was really good too was the Magic Square Minosaur, and that thing parts form as well. Although that thing looked like it was a little more complicated than this, but that's just the nature of how they did that Minosaur versus how this does. But yeah, and then like the Legacy Minosaur also kind of proves that point, that the parts forming combiners kind of come out better. So yeah. Overall, highly recommend him and the other guys. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it's not too long. But yeah, it's me, Kwa. I'm out. Peace.